So I was at Origins a couple weeks ago, and I had been talking for a couple years about this wonderful app that we were going to get going, and it just got to be too big of a project for the team that was working on it, and they were perfectionists. And like you're seeing with the Searchers app here, it's better to get something up than perfection, because perfection never happens, right? And the team that was working on it has kind of thrown in their hat, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I know that for demos, people absolutely love the PDF rosters because they're gorgeous, and when I used to print them out, they'd be like, wow, I can take this home. And it's sold a lot of games. Practicality, when you get home, people aren't super computer savvy, and so we knew we needed something easier. The other thing is, these sheets are gorgeous. Oops, let's see if I can get on screen. These sheets are gorgeous, but a lot of people just print them out in black and white, and so a lot of the details lost. So I think we need something with a cleaner background, and there's a huge contingent that's been lobbying for Excel, and I can't do Excel. That would require you to have an expensive program to use it. That was the nice thing about PDFs. But James, my buddy who got us online, he's been using Google Sheets. And so Google Sheets is kind of a miracle because it's free, right? And so I have taken, James is kind of an Excel genius. And so I have just started on Sunday night working on this. But I've taken some of the work that James has done, and believe me, it's freaking cool. And I've kind of bent James's sheet to my will. I'm trying to make it as close to what we were going to do with that specialty app as I can. And you might see in Seven Sleeping Kings and Wailing Citadel in particular, they're in a slightly different format than rosters, but close enough that people aren't lost, they can find things. And so what I've got on screen now is my first attempt at taking James's genius and putting it into a Google Sheet that I can live with. And just let me zoom in just a little bit here. I kind of want you to see a whole warrior, but can literally, with this drop down over here under war clan name, obviously you'd put your war clan name and your player name there. You can pick the war clan you want to be. Let's say dwarves first. And my warrior number 1 is going to be a Jarl. And it's going to pop his scores right in there for you. And you can see the war clan value went up to 12. Then everything is arranged underneath in such a way that it is familiar, maybe not exactly as it was, but let's say, for example, you really like the defensive icons. Well, over here, I can select the shield, because dwarves always have shields to start, and I can copy and paste a shield right into place, and I can line up. I've done the most commonly used icons right up there at the top, and there's a cool one that I like. There's one for out of ammo, or I used my bedroll or whatever, and you can just kind of paste that wherever you want and move it around. So if you're out of ammo, you can put that little X over it, and you remember at the end of the game, and then you can clear it off. So kind of cool. Armor and clothing like helmets and all that kind of stuff have their own boxes at the top. They're not mixed in with the gear anymore. Weapons not only have enough room to write in all the stats and everything that you need, but there's a line underneath. So if you want to say, hey, this gives me the mighty skill, I can just put it in there. I can change the color of the text if I want. This is your sheet, so you can customize it, right? You can do whatever you want. And James, I've seen with a lot of our left brain geniuses, they really like the skills in blocks rather than separated by commas. And so we're going to try this for a while. And anything in these gray blocks, kind of leave alone. Those are imported from the database that's built in. And what I love about James's thing here is it's got a database and we can expand on it. We were already talking before this on things that we can do. So there's going to be 6 clearly defined gear slots. If you have a beast mount or vehicle, you can put that in with the gold piece value. And you're going to start to see with the living rulebook, I'm making little cards that hold the beast's information and stats. And you can keep those handy, or a later version of this, there may just be a way to pop those stats right up on the page, because that was always a pain. There is tons of room for notes on here. That's always been one of my pet peeves. So if you get a buff, like a blessing spell, if you're a wanderer with deep pockets, joy, luck, songs, if for some reason you don't have enough room to write all your skills, you can overflow. But I mean, we've got room for 36 skills. So if you have more than 36 skills, you're probably cheating. And then you're going to be able to fill in all of the shadow you earn as you play. Up at top, there's a big notes area. I always wanted a notes area where you could do War Clan wide notes like, hey, I get free drinks next time in the pit. That's the kind of stuff I always forget. I was just looking at my sheet I'm playing tonight, and it says Terralore is dead in my campaign when I play Wailing Citadel. That would be a nice thing to have up there. For now, I'm working 5 across. You can't see it because my big ugly mug's in the way, but 5 across fits on screen pretty well. So 1 through 5 are in row 1, row 2 is 6 through 10. And then the mage is pretty easy to get to. If I'm up at 1 and I have to go down to my mage at 11, it's just a quick scroll, and his spell repertoire runs next to him. And then there'll be room for a dragon, an apprentice, and I've got one more slot out there that I haven't decided, maybe an extra warrior slot or something like that. But really cool. And James was saying that maybe we should throw it out to the audience here. If you've got things you always wanted to see, let us know. So what we're seeing here is really a beginning, and that's why we need the comments, because this can get very, very cool. We're going to test this a little before we make it live for folks, but it's not going to be that long. I'd rather get it out sooner than later and have you go, oh, well, this doesn't work, or oh my God, this is awesome, more of this, And let's get it in your hands and see if it solves the roster problem or it creates some new ones. I think you're gonna like it, so we'll leave it there. Thanks to Jonathan and James. It is huge to have players like you guys that contribute so much. All right, thanks for watching.